Hey guys, it's M4J here and welcome back to the M4J Journeyman here on Football Manager 2018. I am still manager of Mitra Kuka, and before we go any further actually I want to tell you a little story. Again, not sure the timeline as to when exactly this episode will be released, but at the time of recording I was just browsing through Twitter one day, as you do, and I happened to catch a little story, I think it was by BBC Sport, about Danny Guthrie. Now, I'm a Newcastle fan, as I'm sure most of you know, as well as being a Stevenage fan, of course. But as a Newcastle fan, I know Guthrie quite well. You know, he spent 4 years at Newcastle. Probably not the best 4 years of his career. I'm sure he'd agree with me as well. But I suppose there were some highlights and some lowlights during his time at Newcastle. But I was quite interested to see that he'd opted to move abroad for his new club. So he was at Blackburn. He left Blackburn during the summer, I believe, and now he's gone abroad. And I just happened to read that he'd gone to Indonesia. I was like, oh, that's quite interesting. I wonder which team he ended up playing for. So I started looking through the league table here and trying to sort of guess who it would be before I actually read the article. And I actually couldn't really guess, to be honest, because this game is a little bit out of the realms of reality already. We're only a season in. So, you know, I started looking at some of the top teams in the league, like Madura, Barito Putra, Bali, you know, all those teams. Sriwijaya, I'm butchering that, I do apologise. I didn't think it would be Mitra Kuka, because as we saw a couple of episodes ago, this team sort of languishes mid-table. I think they finished 9th last season, I think 14th the season before, so only just avoided relegation. Then I decided to read the article. And it said, you know, Danny Guthrie, 4 years at Newcastle, spent time at Blackburn, and now he's gone to Indonesia to join Mitra Kuka. He has actually joined the team that I am currently managing. What an amazing coincidence that turned out to be. Life has a habit of playing funny tricks like that. Just when you think, oh, I've gone to somewhere that not many Football Manager players would go to, in managing in Indonesia, a team that maybe not many people have heard of, and now suddenly they're headline news because an English footballer has actually gone and started playing for them. Also, Mohamed Sissoko, who used to play for Liverpool back in the Benitez days, he has just left Mitra Kuka. So it turns out they're actually quite well known in the, at least in the players' circle. Maybe not so much by fans, but the players definitely. So I thought that was quite an interesting way to start the episode. Anyway, let's look at the schedule. We're playing 2 cup matches in today's episode, with a league match in between that I'm going to play off camera. Before we get into that, these are loads of friendlies that I scheduled, by the way. More on that in a second. Let's go through some of the league results. So I think, I can't even remember where the last episode was now, but you can see some of the results here. We've scored a lot of goals. We've also conceded a few goals. You know, 5 there, 2 there, 3 there, 2 there. That was a really disappointing defeat, by the way, because we would have gone top if we beat Madura, and it turns out that I think they were a point ahead of us at kickoff, or 2 points. Yeah, they were 2 points ahead of us at kickoff, so we'd have gone a point above them had we have won. But because we didn't, they won. They then went 3 points ahead of us. 5 points ahead of us. I can't do my maths for some reason. And then we drew here, and they won again. So I think there's like 7 or 8 points now between us, which is really annoying. And it also now means we're tied with 3rd. But I'll get a bit more into why that has happened in just a second. I'm actually really happy with the way the team have played as a whole. And again, when I explain what's happened, you'll see why I'm happy, despite like a 3-1 defeat here, for example. We're playing really well. We got David on one wing and Mandoan on the other, playing exceptionally well. They're always getting good scores, not consistently or as consistent as I like. You can see here David got 6.5. And that was against Pasela. And then in the next match, he got 7, despite the fact we lost. And then the match after that, he got 7.2. Mandoan got a 9.4. That was a good game. Here, David got 7. Mandoan again with an 8. And then down here, this match was really disappointing because we were 2-0 up, but I was forced into 2 changes at half time. One of which was a defensive change. I brought Saputra on, because Hotta, as you can see, was carrying an injury, and he played a 5.9, and we conceded twice, one of which was in the 81st minute. Less said about that, the better. Now, if I go into the tactics screen, you will see why we've had some pretty bad games. Injuries is the answer, the big I word. So our first choice keeper, Medianto, he's currently out for 2 to 6 weeks with a sprained knee. He actually picked up that injury, I think, 5 matches ago. So that's how long we've been without our first choice keeper. Hotter has just come back from an injury. He was out for 3 weeks, I think. Sandy was out for 2 weeks. In midfield, I mean, you see here Bayor is still carrying an injury. He'll resume full training in 5 days, but I literally have no other options on the bench, so I've had to play him. Hirianto's out for 2 to 5 weeks. Again, he picked up that injury a little while ago. Radeon. Now, we had the striker last time around who was Castanheiro, I think his name was. He left on a free transfer. It said his contract was up in 6 months' time. And I tried to renew it and he rejected it because he wanted something like £2,600 a week, and I'm not paying that. It's stupid. He then left. Like 2 weeks later, he just left. I've no idea how that happened or why that happened, but yeah, he doesn't play for us anymore, which is a bit weird. Fortunately, Radeon started playing and scoring lots of goals, but then he's now been injured. He's out for 11 days to 4 weeks with a twisted ankle. Again, he picked up that injury a few weeks ago. So it's not been ideal. I've had to promote lots of youth players, which was then also a problem because the registration window wasn't open, so I couldn't register them. You can see here Mosibo. Actually, I might be able to play him in this game. I don't think there's a registration thing in this this competition, so I can actually start him. I'd quite like to win the cup. We'll see if it's possible. I also want to start Koppen. Who did I just take out? You. Yeah, okay. Can't play you anyway. And Bunting, who I did sign, I've now loaned out. And hopefully he's doing quite well. That's good that I can play the foreigners, because that's also been a problem, is player registration. They have a rule in Indonesia. You can only register a maximum of 3 foreign players, but 2 of those foreign players... sorry, hang on. I think it's 4 foreign players you can register, but 2 of them have to be also from another Asian country. So, for example, Owen Kyun here, he's a foreign player because he's not an Indonesian, but because he's from, I think it's South Korea? Yeah, because he's South Korean, I can still register him as an Asian player. But yeah, it's been really, really problematic. The injuries have completely wrecked our season in many ways. But hopefully this is the turning point. So we've got Koppen and we've got Mosibo starting. Mosibo's not quite up to match fitness yet, so Sadiq might have to come on at some point. This guy, Kaya, for some reason, I think I just signed him actually, because the transfer window, it kind of shut for like 2 months, and then it's just reopened at the start of August. So some players that I signed on free transfers, I've now actually got in the squad. One of whom was Kaya. I'm trying to think who the other one was. I've got loads of trialists, by the way. You'll notice here I've got loads of trialists. Because I'm trying to find some good young players that I can bring in and then put in the first team on minimum wages, essentially. Borderline slavery, you could argue. But we won't go too much into that. I'm trying to think. It was a central midfielder that I signed as well. It wasn't Koppen. Oh, it might have been Koppen, actually. Yeah, I think it was Koppen, thinking about it. The stats aren't great, but the star rating's good. So, yeah. I think I've talked for long enough now. It's been nearly 10 minutes. We're supposed to play 2 matches in this this episode. Alright, we've got loads of squad numbers to dish out. Let's give you 26, 3, 21, and 9. Why not? Right. So yeah, the injuries are the reason why we've sort of slipped down the league a little bit. But hopefully today we can put 2 good results together. I think it's a 2-legged match against PSSB in the Indonesian Cup. And we'll see if we can actually get through to the next round. I was hoping we'd get a huge prize fund if we won this competition, but I looked at the rules just before the recording started, and it's £2,500. To put that in context, we're £400,000 in debt. You get 135,000, I think, if you win the league, which might help. But we've got some financial problems, which could mean that my time in Indonesia is shorter than I perhaps would like it to be. Unless one of the other teams offers me a job, but then I'd sort of feel a bit disloyal towards Mitra Kuka, who are actually a really good team. I'm really enjoying managing this team. Good squad. Very good squad. And I always like the tagline of not expecting to do well, but still managing it anyway. And that definitely seems to be the case with Mitra Kuka. They were 9th in the table. You know, expectations were pretty low when I took over. Just to be competitive, I think, was the main objective the board set me. We're currently 2nd in the league. So, yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy. We're not going to get the 135,000 for winning the league, I don't think. I think we'll finish 2nd come the end of the season. I'd like to get attendances up, and hopefully finishing 2nd in the league will do that. Because I do think... That's a bad ball. What the hell was that? What the hell was that? Who played that pass? I think it was Ramadan. The left back. Let's see. It was a nothing throw. Good interception by Ramadan. And he was trying to play it back to the keeper. That's a really bad, terrible pass. Awful. Ugh. That's one of the issues. Like I say, I'm really enjoying managing this team. I think the finances are fixable. That's what I was going to say. I think if we get some good results, we increase attendances, and we consistently finish in the top 2 of the league, then we can sort out the finances. That was a good goal. Coppen on his debut. Bronson Coppen. That's an awesome name as well. I think he's Australian. It certainly sounds like an Australian name. But I think the frustrations of the registration system, not so much the foreign players, I can deal with that, but the fact that you can't just promote a youth player into the senior team during a closed window because you can't register them. You can only register players during a transfer window. I think that's a bit of an obstacle, perhaps. And sometimes, it's a really poor goal to concede as well. Sometimes obstacles like that can put me off managing in certain leagues in certain countries, but I'll always give it a go. And I'm glad I did, because I was skeptical. Not so much on camera, but off camera. When I was considering taking the job in Indonesia and leaving Queen's University, I was skeptical, and I was wondering, is this actually a right career move? Like, I don't want the Journeyman career to be over because I chose the wrong club, essentially. But I'm building up a pretty good reputation in this country, and eventually word will spread. I'm also intrigued to know whether, if I win this league, or if I finish 2nd in this league, if there's some kind of continental competition that I could then qualify for. Because that will get good attendances and good finances. So you never know. I mean, it's not game over. I'm not leaving the club yet. I want to at least see out the season. I'd like to see out a 2nd season as well if I can. That's kind of what I did with Queens. I technically had 1.5 seasons with them, but you get the point. Sort of saw to the end of the season twice. And eventually I will, of course, start staying at clubs for more than just a season or 2. Because you don't want to get a reputation. I mean, obviously I'm a journeyman, so I want to travel around a lot. But you don't want to get a reputation of being someone who just comes in, does a very quick job and then leaves again. Even if it's a very good job. I want a little bit of longevity. Anyway, we are sucking hard in this game right now. I actually thought with the squad that we had available we would put on a better performance, but Ramadan's on a 6.2, Bayo's on a 6.3, and Sawadi up front is on a 6.4. None of them are good enough. Really, 2 of them. Actually, I mean, Bayo is my first choice attacking midfielder. It could well be the injury that's stopping him playing. He's a 63% condition as well, which is a factor. That's poor. That's very lucky. But Sawadi wasn't my first choice striker. I think he was my 3rd choice striker. The only reason he's playing is because of the injuries. And you can argue that perhaps the same about Ramadan as well. Although, again, his star rating was pretty good. We're at half time now, so I'm going to make the changes. I'm actually going to go 2 up top. And bring on Augustier, I think is how you say that. I'm probably just butchering people's names left, right and centre at the moment. Masibo's playing well. Hotta's not playing well. He's only on a 6.6. Do I bring off Ramadan? I could give Kaya his debut, I suppose. I think he can play left back. Seems like he can. Can you play left back? No, you can't. Okay. We'll try that. It can't be worse, surely. Surely it can't be worse than a 6.2. I mean, he is listed as being able to play both left and right back, and he's got a yellow rating at left back. So I might just retrain him there still, just to make doubly sure. Interestingly, I think Milano actually played left back in my last game. Again, because of injuries. I have to check that. But he had a penalty. I think it was in the last game when we were 2-0 up. He had a penalty, and he put it straight down the middle, and the keeper just... I mean, he didn't catch it, but he didn't really have to break sweat to save it either. That was a good goal by Sawadi. He has scored a couple of goals for me this season. It's not like I don't like him up front. I would have preferred to have had Castanheira, but he got greedy, so I wasn't too upset to see him leave in the end because of the way he acted. And it's not even like he left and walked straight into another club. I think he's still a free agent at the moment. I offered him a trial, just maybe to try and convince him to re-sign, but he wasn't really interested. So, you know, we had the other guy up front until he got injured, and now we've got Sawadi. We have still got... I think it's 2 attacking midfielders who can also play up front, and Mandoan can also play up front as well. So we have kind of got versatility and cover. The only problem is if Mandoan plays up front, then we don't really have anyone who can play right wing. So there is a bit of an issue there. Good block, defender. And of course, losing your first choice keeper as well. I don't have any problems with this keeper. I think he's done quite well when he's had to. I do not blame him for that goal that was scored in this game at all. I think that was entirely the fault of Ramadan. But yeah, it's been a struggle, and it's been really frustrating because it's out of my control. If it was my bad tactics and something like that, then I'd feel frustrated still, but I'd at least know it's solvable. I can make changes and perhaps we'll get better results. But because it's injuries and because there's been a couple of suspensions as well, so even if players are fit and available, they're then suspended, which isn't ideal. It has gotten really, really frustrating. I don't know what David was trying to do there. He's had some really good games for us, and he's had some really terrible games for us. And it's like a switch. When he's playing well, he plays like a 9.2, and then when he plays badly, it's like a 6.2. There doesn't seem to be any middle ground. So he's one of these players that just blows hot and cold, really. No in between. Alright, I'm keeping an eye on the clock. I'm also keeping an eye on Mandoan, because he's only got a 6.3. That being said, mind you, I did this in the last game and regretted it. I was about to say bring off Hotta, because he's 68% condition. But to be honest, even if he's crawling on his hands and knees, he could still do a better job than... Although we got Sidic on the bench this time. You'll have to excuse me thinking out loud. I'm still getting used to the squad as well, despite the number of games I've played. Because it's pretty much a different lineup each match, which doesn't help things. That's offside. I know that's offside. You can always tell because the crowd make a slightly different noise when it's offside. There's a good cross-in from Kaya. Mandoan needed to get back quicker, although that was quite a tidy finish. But yeah, he needed to get back on side quicker. Otherwise, flag's always going to go up. Yeah, I'm sort of thinking out loud, wondering how I'm going to change this. I think the preferred substitution would be Mandoan off. And I think it's Wirawan who can also play on the right side of midfield. He actually plays as a wide midfielder rather than a winger. So I might have to change the tactic a little bit. I mean, we're the away team. I don't know whether there's away goals in this, but we are the away team and we're dominating the game. So maybe it's not all bad. I'm going to bring Wirawan on for Mandoan. We'll see how that does. Definitely going 2 up top has changed things for us. That's a second yellow for their guy. Although I have just noticed you are on a yellow card, and the last thing I want is you to be sent off. So let's quickly change that. Good ball over to David. Is he going to cross it? He is. It's a good cross. There you go. Bring off Mando and bring on Wirawan, and he scores almost immediately. I'll take that. That's his first ever goal for us. Good assist from David. I think the defence were a bit sieve-like there. Let the ball just go straight through them. Nice free kick from Masibo though. I really wish I could register him. It's one of these catch-22 situations, because to register him I'd have to either unregister Hotter or what's his name? Nitjolo, I think is how you pronounce it. And I mean, both of them, Hotter and Nitjolo, they're actually playing quite well. So it's a real annoyance that I can't register all three. Although I might be able to. Oh no, I was thinking about Castanheira. He was able to be registered, but he was a Brazilian who was then I think he declared himself for Japan because he was listed as being Japanese, despite the fact he was born in Brazil. I'm guessing he's had a very very adventurous life, moving around the world by the sounds of things. But yeah, I'm trying to find loopholes and struggling. But that's the first match, 3-2. Bit disappointed with the goals we conceded, but pleased that we ended up winning the game. I think we did well to come back and actually win that one. I don't actually know if there's prize money for individual matches either. I'm guessing that there isn't. And there's one more thing I wanted to check. I want to check the rules for this. Yeah. Team in second position qualifies for Asian Confederation Cup playoff. Top team qualifies for Asian Champions League. What's the prize money for this? Doesn't seem to be any. Winners qualify for the... Oh, that's winners of the leagues. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be any listed directly there. What about this? Also not. Okay. Right, so I'm going to put cut here, and we're going to come back for the second leg after I've played the league match in between. So I'll see you guys in just a second. Okay, we are back. We are ready to play the next game. Before we do, I'm going to show you this very quickly. We played Arima in the league. We drew 2-2. Wasn't very good. Twice we went behind. Twice we came back. Yeah, like I said, it wasn't very good. However, you'll notice this. Bronson Coppen was playing in that league match. It turns out, and I can't believe I forgot this, but in terms of football, Australia is considered part of Asia, which means Australians can be registered as foreign players but from Asia, and I completely forgot that. So yeah, we ended up registering Coppen, and he is now playing for us. He did pick up a foot injury in the last game. I think he could be out for 5 to 6 weeks, I think it said, after this game. I gave him an injection for this match because I really needed him to play. I've also got a new goalkeeper, Hanafi, who my scout said was better than Pambudi, but it turns out not to be the case. He's only 2-star, which is the same as Pambudi according to this. Well, I think that's because that's playing as a sweeper keeper. Ramadan is awful. I'm playing Kaya from kickoff. And apart from that, oh, maybe Masibo back in defence instead of Sandy, who is going to sit this one out, I think. And apart from that, I think we can get into the game. Now, Radeon is still out for 10 days to 3 weeks, and Bunting's out on loan, so I can't put him in. However, Haryanto, 3 weeks. Yeah, I don't want to aggravate anyone's injuries now, to be honest. I think I've done that enough. Alright, we'll try this. We'll see how we do. give the new goalkeeper the #1 shirt. I'm sure he won't be here next season, so we'll give it to someone else a bit more deserving. That's one of the things that I'm struggling to find at the moment, actually, as a goalkeeper. I think I'm going to leave the goalkeeper search for this season now, because we have technically got 3 plus a youth player who's been promoted. But I would like to find another goalkeeper. Now, you might have noticed the extremely poor turnout in terms of fans. Excuse me. Before the match, they came up with a message saying poor turnout expected. We sold 200 tickets for this game. I guess these fans of Mitra Kukar do not care about the first round of the Indonesian Cup. I think this team is from the division below as well, which might also be a factor. Which is a bit worrying, considering we did struggle against them a little bit in the first leg. And they're a team that's supposedly worse off than us. So, there's that. However, Sawadi has broken through quite early here. Forces a save from the keeper. 42 seconds, that save. That would have been a really good start. But yeah, 200 fans. Well, that's 200 tickets sold in advance. There might have been more sold on the day. We don't know. Oh, Koppen with a speculative effort there, going just wide. I like the fact we've managed to register Koppen. 5 to 6 weeks is a long time for him to be out, though, so hopefully it's not as bad as that. I think it was 2 to 3 weeks to start with, and then with the injection it could end up being 5 to 6 weeks. But I'll keep an eye on his condition, and if we're winning by a couple of goals at half-time, then I'll happily bring him off. Actually, in the last game, yes, he got injured, which meant I had to bring him off and bring Alice on. But at that point, we were 2-1 down. Alice then came on and got the assist to Nitjolo for the equaliser. So it turned out to be a pretty good sub anyway. But I'm going to keep an eye on that, because we need him available, to be honest. The midfield, it's one of my top tips, actually, for Football Manager. If your strikers aren't scoring, or if you're conceding lots of goals, don't necessarily blame the striker or the defence. Look at your midfield first. Because chances are it's because your midfield's not doing their job properly. So if you're playing a defence midfielder, it's their job to protect the back four. If you find that the opposition are having lots of shots and getting the ball in the box a lot, chances are your defence midfielder's not doing his job properly. Likewise, good goal. David nearly ruined it there. Likewise, if your striker is not scoring, but he's got a good rating, even if he's getting poor match ratings, always look at whether your midfielder are actually supplying him well with the ball. If he's not getting enough support, and if he's not getting the ball enough, then he's not going to score many goals. Always check your midfield first. And it certainly seems to be the case with Mitra Kukar as well. I can always tell when the midfield is not quite working, because we're either letting the opposition have too many shots, or we're not having too many shots ourselves. If you can get that factor right, then you can get some good results on the board. And that's one of the reasons, that's pretty much the reason why I wanted Koppen available for this game. Because just having him on the pitch makes our midfield so much stronger, and in turn makes our attack so much more potent. Right, we are approaching half-time. We're not exactly setting the world on fire with our chances here. I'd like to grab another goal before half-time if possible. We've had 14 shots. They've only had 2. We're just not making the most of our chances. And Sawadi's playing a 6.4, which is awful. I wanted to bring Koppen off. We are technically winning by 2 goals. But I think I need him out there still, just to make the midfield that a little bit stronger. If we can grab another goal, then I will bring him off. Just hold on, buddy. You can do this. If you score it or get the assist, then I'll be extremely happy, because I'll feel vindicated then. Right, Augustia with the ball in, and there's the goal. Okay, Koppen. I keep my promise. You've done well, but we'll rest you now. And it was Sawadi with the goal, who I very nearly brought off, actually, at half-time, and I'm really glad I didn't. Incidentally, my assistant has recommended retraining Augustia as a left midfielder, or a left winger, and to be honest, with that run and cross, I can see where he's coming from. That was good play by someone who can also play as a target man, which suggests that he's big and strong. Yet well, I suppose he wasn't exactly running the line with pace there, but it's good to see that he can get the ball out wide and still deliver a good cross into the middle. It's encouraging. It's always encouraging. And Sawadi, his rating's gone from a 6.5 up to a 7.1, so that's very encouraging as well. And that puts us 3 goals ahead, which should, hopefully, fingers crossed, touch wood, see us through to the second round. I think this is the first round. Is there a way of seeing on here? I don't think there is. I really want to change this. I'm trying to think what to. It's going to annoy me if I don't. Let me move that a second. Mitrakuka stats? No, I've got that over there. Report, maybe? No, feedback? Actually, if I put feedback... No, because it never gets full. I need something that actually fills the... I mean, there's this, I suppose. If I move that back, I think it was about there, and do overall. As long as it stays at overall, then I can see where all... I mean, that's good. Seeing where all our shots came from. They're pretty much all in and around the 18-yard box, which is good. And their 2 shots have been speculative. That one perhaps could have caused problems, because we have conceded a couple from that sort of distance into the bottom corner. Which is quite disappointing when that happens. Right, that wasn't the worst ball into the box, but it was well cleared by their defence. They are breaking forward in numbers. We could do with getting the ball back off them. Good play by Milana there. Right, Kaya on the ball. Thumps it down the left wing. Augustia not getting that one. Played back to their keeper. He's launched it forward. Hotto with the header away, but straight to one of their players. He needs to win it back. He's not even made the challenge. Shot comes in. There's the goal. Of course it is. Offside? Nope. 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 Right. Well. More subs. Siddiq to play it right back, because that is an awful condition. 59%. Same with Nick Jolo there. So I'm going to bring on Pratama. And I think you can play as an advanced. Yeah, you can. I nearly brought on Bayo. I'm going to bring on Bayo instead, actually. Assuming his condition is okay now, he should be able to play. We're conceding really poor goals. Really poor goals. I think that's what's most frustrating, as I know my defence isn't the best in the world, but if we were conceding well-worked goals and things like that, then I wouldn't have anything to complain about. But it's because I know they're so avoidable. So avoidable. It's so frustrating. We're still 2 goals up. I'll take that as a positive. The overall tie score is the same as what we would have in a league match, I would say. Maybe that's not a bad thing. I will have to double check what league this team are in. I can't remember playing them before the cup. That's a good goal. That's pretty much a carbon copy of the second goal, to be honest. But yeah, I'll check what league this team are in, because if they're like top of the league below, then I might not be as upset, because that's... I always think of it as if you're top of the division below, then you're essentially in the same position as maybe the bottom 2 of this league, and, you know, upsets happen and things like that, so it's not the worst thing in the world. And as I say, my defence are hopeless at times, so conceding a really sloppy goal like that, as long as the attacker's still scoring, 6-3 is a pretty entertaining scoreline for both sets of fans. You know, the underdogs can say they gave it a go, they scored 3 goals, and the dominant team can argue that, you know, they did their job still and got through to the next round. So I suppose everybody wins apart from the team that loses. You know what I mean? I think I know what I mean. Anyway, 3-1 up. 6 minutes to go. 5 minutes to go. 4 minutes to go. I think we've seen this one out. I need to work on the defence. I'll do that off camera. I don't know how long the transfer window is open for. I'm assuming it's till the end of August. I'll have a look and see if I can improve the defence any further. I might also look at twiddling with the tactics a little bit and see if that might help. But overall, I'm quite happy. Like I say, strengthening the midfield was my main priority. in this transfer window, because I know that the defence was struggling because of the midfield, and also our goals were starting to dry up a little bit, not just because our top scorer was out injured, but also because the midfield was out injured as well. So a good midfield leads to nearly good goals. I was about to say then, as Augustia hit the post there. Oof, that could have got in as well. That's the advantage of playing a right-footed left-back, is when he cuts onto his stronger foot like that. David's cross in, Mandoen's header misses. Alice out to Bayor. He crosses it in. David at the back post, puts it back in. Sawadi's header wide. Corner. Okay, must have deflected. The condition of our players is also something that's quite worrying. I don't think we have a fitness coach, actually, thinking about it. Even though I've got the team training on fitness, I think it might take a little while still, because we were already in the season, so it's not like we spent all of pre-season conditioning them ready for the season. You know, I came in 3 matches in, I think, or 4 matches in, and then tried to bring in this new transfer training method, which probably didn't help. That is full time. Look at this. 30 shots, 12 on target, and we only scored 3 goals. I can see where we need to improve. Hitting it straight down the keeper's throat, I do debate sometimes whether that should be counted as a shot on target if it's just an easy save for the keeper. Otherwise, you could just do side foot passes essentially to their goalkeeper and then try and claim it as a shot on target. Anyway, that is the end of this episode, guys. It's a bit longer than usual because I talked for ages at the start. I do apologise for that. That will happen a lot. If I do big gaps between episodes, then obviously I'll have a lot to talk about when we come back. Let me just check what league. Yeah, they must be the league below. Might I'll be a bit cheeky there and scout some of their players, particularly their goal scorers. Who scored for them? Where are we? Here. So let's look at this leg first. I think they're both on loan. You're 17. 17-year-old striker with that finishing. Take it, yeah. What's your value? 2.4 thousand. We'll get the reports first. We'll get the reports first. I think I've used up my entire scouting budget as well, which doesn't help. Ah, you get 2,500 per round. Okay, that makes more sense. That makes more sense. Okay, physio, or I can give him another injection. I want him to play the next game as well. I have to give him another injection. Augustia did well. Superb in front of goal. Okay. Okay, that went well. Right, yeah, I'll end the episode here. So, I'm going to play loads more matches off camera. Probably towards the end of the season, actually, before I come back and make another episode. Just because I really want to get this season finished. Then we can have a pre-season, really get to know the squad, get rid of the old deadwood, bring in some new blood, and see how well we do. But in the meantime, you know, if you have any suggestions of transfers, tactics, that kind of thing, if you know the Indonesian league, feel free to drop some information down in the comment section about how the league works, who the champions are, who's currently leading, that kind of thing. Actually, do they play during the winter? I don't think they do. No, we start in March, and we finish... Oh, we finish in January. Yeah, we finish in January, okay. So, let me know who won the last season, because that would have just finished. Besides that, thank you very much, guys, for watching. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and of course if you're enjoying the series. Don't forget to drop those comments down below. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button. If you have already subscribed to the channel, thank you guys for your continued support. And until next time, I will see you soon.